Imagine it is late at night. You are completely alone in your room. The lights are off. The only sound you can hear is the wind whistling outside your window. Suddenly, you smell something strange, a scent that doesn't belong in your room. You are lying there with your eyes closed, trying to ignore it. And then you feel a presence. Someone comes right next to your ear and begins to whisper. You can't understand the words, but your entire body goes numb. You are paralyzed. You want to move. You want to scream, but you can't do anything. Just imagine how terrifying that would be. These are the kinds of real stories people share with me, and tonight I am going to share them with you. If you have a story like this, something you can't explain, you can send it to me. Check the description for my WhatsApp number and email. You can write it down or send me a voice note. Before we begin, I suggest you say a prayer for protection. They say that when we talk about these dark entities, they get curious and they come closer. If you get scared easily, maybe this video isn't for you. Let's begin. Our first story comes from a woman who wants to remain anonymous. She says, "I don't want to tell you my real name. To be honest, I am still afraid. I feel like if I tell this story, it might find me again. This isn't a made-up tale. This is a part of my life that broke me from the inside. It happened in December. Winter was at its peak. The days were short and the nights felt unnaturally long and dark. My husband suddenly decided, let's go to Naran. Let's go see the snow at Babusar Top. I was a little scared of traveling in the mountains during winter nights, but the excitement of a family trip took over. We imagined beautiful photos, snow, and happy memories. So we packed our bags. It was me, my husband, our 2 young kids, and my younger sister. We drove from Lahore to Islamabad and stayed the night there. Everything was normal. The kids were laughing, watching cartoons, and my sister was playing with them. We had no idea that our nightmare would begin the very next evening. We left Islamabad late. By the time we were driving towards Balakot, the sun had already set. As we crossed Balakot, the atmosphere changed. The road became empty. The darkness felt heavy. On one side, there was a deep cliff with a roaring river. On the other, giant black mountains. Our headlights were the only light in the world. I had a sinking feeling in my heart. I thought, what if the car breaks down here? I didn't say it out loud, but sometimes your worst thoughts come true. Suddenly, my sister screamed. My husband panicked. The car swerved. The tires skidded on the road. For a second, I thought we were going to fall off the cliff, but thank God the car spun and stopped in the middle of the road. My husband jumped out to check the damage. I looked back at my sister. She stumbled out of the car. She was frantically brushing her clothes, her arms, her legs, like she was covered in bugs. Her eyes were wide with terror. I asked her, "What happened?" She whispered, "I felt hands, large hands running from my head down to my feet, and then they vanished." A cold wave of fear went through my body. We were in the middle of nowhere, in pitch darkness, and something invisible had just touched her. One of our tires had burst. My husband started changing it. While he was working, I heard a knock on the window. Tap, tap. I looked, but no one was there. My husband was on the other side of the car. Then a knock came from the back. My husband looked at me and asked, "Did you call me?" I said, "No, didn't you knock?" We both stared at each other. The silence of the night was suddenly very loud. We realized we were being watched. We got back in the car to leave, but the vibe had changed. My sister was sitting with her head down, mumbling strange words. When she looked up, her eyes didn't look like hers anymore. They had a weird shine. She started laughing, a dry, hollow laugh that scared my children.
Then she did something crazy. The car was moving, but she opened the door and jumped out. She ran straight into the dark jungle. My husband yelled, "Stay with the kids," and he ran after her with his flashlight. I was left alone in the car with my crying children. I started reciting prayers, my voice shaking. From the jungle, I heard a voice. It sounded like my husband calling out, but the tone was wrong. It was like something was mimicking him. Eventually, my husband brought her back. She was quiet now. Later, he told me that while he was chasing her, he felt someone walking right next to him. He felt breath on his neck, but when he looked, no one was there. We managed to reach a hotel in Naran. It was an old wooden building. We were exhausted. We got 2 rooms, one for the kids and my sister, and one for us. But I was too scared to leave the kids with her, so I kept them with me. My sister sat in her room staring at the ceiling, not blinking at all. Late that night, around 2:40 a.m., I saw movement on the balcony. Our rooms shared a balcony. I peeked through the curtain. My sister was standing there. Her hair was messed, and she was sniffing the air like a wild animal. She walked up to the glass door and looked inside, straight at me. Her eyes were demonic. I woke my husband, but when we went to check her room, she was asleep in her bed, exactly how we left her. So who was on the balcony? We tried to sleep, but soon there was a violent banging on our door. It was the hotel staff. The man looked terrified. He said, "Sir, madam, please come downstairs. Your sister is in the kitchen. She is not okay." We ran down. I will never forget what I saw. My sister was sitting on the dirty kitchen floor. There was a large pot of raw meat. She was eating the raw meat with her bare hands, tearing at it like a beast. An old man at the hotel realized what was happening. He called a spiritual healer. As soon as the healer started reading prayers, my sister's voice changed. A heavy, deep voice spoke through her. The entity said it had been attached to her since childhood, but the mountains made it strong. We left immediately. We didn't even pack properly. We just ran. Even now, back in our home in Lahore, things aren't fully normal. Sometimes my sister stares blankly at walls. Sometimes I hear footsteps on the roof. I realized that when you go to places like that, sometimes you don't come back alone.
Our next story comes from a man named Hamza. It's a warning about stopping on the road at night. Hamza says, "It was late December. The fog in Punjab was thick, so thick that the headlights of my car would bounce back at me. We were driving on the GT road, avoiding the highway because of the fog. It was me, my wife, my kids, and my parents. The road was silent. The fog looked like white smoke swirling around us. Suddenly, I saw a van parked on the side of the road. It was completely dark. No lights, no indicators, just sitting there in the mist. It looked dead, like life had just vanished from it. My wife told me, "Hamza, don't stop, it's dangerous." But I'm a curious person. I thought someone might need help. I pulled over. I took a flashlight and got out. The cold went straight to my bones. I walked to the van. It was empty, but I saw a dim light in the distance, in the fields. It looked like a lantern. I saw shadows of people standing there. I told my family to wait in the car, and I walked toward the light. As I got closer, I heard strange sounds, chanting, and a girl laughing maniacally. I hid behind a bush and looked. There was an old shrine. A group of men were holding a girl down. She was screaming and thrashing. An old man was performing a ritual on her. Suddenly, the girl stopped screaming. She snapped her head up and looked directly at my hiding spot. She smiled and she spoke. She didn't say my name. She said my mother's name. She laughed and whispered, "You didn't come alone."
I was terrified. I turned around and ran back to my car. I locked the doors. My heart was pounding. I tried to start the car, but the engine died. The timing belt had snapped. We were stuck in the fog next to that haunted shrine. That's when I heard it, the sound of children laughing. It was coming from the bushes outside. I knew my children were inside the car with me, so who was outside? I couldn't help myself. I shined my flashlight toward the bushes. The fog parted for a second, and I saw them. I saw a family standing there, a woman in a shawl, 2 children, and a man. They were wearing our clothes. The woman looked like my wife. The kids looked like my kids. And the man, he looked exactly like me. The other me was holding a flashlight, staring back at me with dead, empty eyes. Suddenly, the other family all turned their heads at the same time to look at me. A voice whispered in my ear, the voice of the possessed girl. "Those who stop here don't go back whole." The other me took a step toward the car. I screamed at my family, "Lock the doors, don't look out." My son asked me, "Dad, why are you standing outside?" I froze. A muddy hand slapped against the windshield. A face pressed against the glass. It was my face, but there was no life in it. We started reciting every prayer we knew. We screamed in terror. Suddenly, bright lights flooded the car. A massive truck was coming down the road. The lights broke the spell. The figures vanished into the fog. The truck driver stopped and helped us. He told us that this spot was cursed and we were lucky to be alive. To this day, when I drive in the fog, I never look in the rearview mirror because I'm afraid that one day I'll see that other me sitting in the back seat.
Those were today's stories. They are a reminder that some roads are better left untraveled, especially at night. We made a mistake by driving in that fog, and we made a mistake by stopping. I hope these stories gave you the chills. If you enjoyed this narration, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you are new here, subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you can join our family and never miss a story. Take care of yourselves and stay safe in the dark. Allah Hafiz.